Hi everyone, how are you doing today? Happy Sunday. If you're watching this on the day that I put it out, it is Sunday. I was going to say August, but it's not August anymore. Happy Sunday. It's Sunday. Today I'm filming. It's Sunday. How many times can I say Sunday? It is Sunday, September 12th, 2021. Happy Grandparents' Day if you are a grandparent. It is Grandparents' Day here in the United States. I don't know if that's a national holiday or if it's just, I know it's a national day of recognition. I don't know if it's an international day of recognition. So just like Mother's Day and Father's Day, Grandparents' Day is typically in September. Grandparents' Day was always it was always special to me. Grandparents were always really important in my life. So I want to wish every one of you who is a grandparent happy Grandparents' Day and happy Sunday. Sunday. I am back today with another update. It has been a very, very cross-stitchy kind of week again. No knitting whatsoever. Haven't even touched a knitting needle this week. Anyways, but first, let's talk a little bit about some plants. I had a couple questions as far as plants that I wanted to talk about. And I had a question that somebody asked me that I want to answer, and then I also want to show a couple plants that I'm going to show two plants. One is with a question that a viewer has asked, and another is just really doing well, and I want to showcase it today. So the first plant I'm going to show and talk about today is my Streptocarpus Salmon Sunset Cape Primrose. So my Streptocarpus, let me move some plants out of the way here. A Streptocarpus is actually a plant that is in the primrose and African violet family. This is my very first Streptocarpus that I've ever had. Making sure that's not an insect of any kind right there. I don't think that is. So this is in the African violet family. It's very similar to a primrose. I think they're much easier to care for than an African violet. Excuse me. And it pretty much blooms, for me at least. It's been blooming all summer long. Once it started blooming, I now have something stuck in my throat. Let's see if that helps. Drinking water today. Trying to increase my water intake. Once this thing started blooming, it hasn't stopped blooming yet. And I even cut off all the bloom spikes, and it still keeps growing back more and more bloom spikes. So I bought this online. So I ordered this online from an online retailer. And it was probably maybe 3 or 4 of these leaves, no blooms whatsoever, and it has grown into this massively large plant. There might even be 2 or 3 plants in there now at this point, and it's just doing amazing. So that is it's called the Streptocarpus. You can see there's some dead flowers on there. I need to trim off. So basic care tips are, and what's nice about these are, compared to the African violet, you can get these leaves wet. It doesn't matter. It doesn't kill the leaf or anything like that. I can water. You can top water it. You don't have to bottom water it. Once the bloom spike is done blooming, so once this spike here is all done blooming with all of the flowers, I'm just going to chop it off at the bottom. And more spikes will continue to come. Actually, this one right here is completely dead. So after we're done filming here, I'm gonna go and cut that off just so it takes care of getting rid of that one. There's another one here as well. There's a couple spikes on here. I need to get rid of the spikes. So that is my Streptocarpus Salmon Sunset. There you go. All right. So I keep my tags That way I either keep my tags, or if I buy it and it doesn't have a tag and maybe it has a sticker on the pot, I will make my own tags. So the plant that I'm going to show you now is my carnivorous plant. This is a Pinguicula, and this is a Pinguicula gigantea. So as you can see, it's getting nice and big. This is probably tripled in size since I've gotten it. You can see all the little black spots on the leaves are actually fungus gnats. Might even be an ant on here somewhere too, because it does attract ants as well. I do have ants in my house occasionally. So this is a Pinguicula. And what's nice about Pinguicula is that it does attract fungus gnats. You can see here that right there, that's a dead leaf. So basically, as the new leaves form, old leaves die off. There's I can't remember my fingers well enough. Here's another dead leaf. The question I was asked is, what happens whenever all of my fungus gnats are gone? How am I going to feed my Pinguicula or my carnivorous plants? I don't know. I don't know if I'm ever going to be 100% fungus gnat free. As you can see, I'm still getting, this is my newer leaves, I'm still getting fungus gnats, and it's still doing really well. So, you know, I've done treatments for fungus gnats, and I am drastically less and less of fungus gnats, but I'm still not 100% fungus gnat free. I might just start killing ants and putting ants on it. I'm also told that you can get special kinds of, like, I think it's bloodworms, and put bloodworms on them. I don't know if I'm going to go that far, but this is so I don't know what I'm going to do if I get to the point where I don't have enough fungus gnats to take care of my Pinguicula. So this is in a small, what is this, like a 4-inch pot, 2-inch pot, that I actually have it in a saucer of water. So this is treated with, this is watered with distilled water, and I bottom water it. So basically I put the water in here. And then I put this in here and I bottom water. I just pour the water into here. It's just much easier than top watering it. So there you go, Pinguicula. I'm going to go ahead and clean up this mess, put everything away. I actually spilled some water on my desk, and I will be right back with some cross-stitch update. All right, let's talk about cross-stitch. First off, before we get into my project updates, I did have a question about one of the pieces. I'm looking through a book here, that's why I'm looking down. I did have a question about one of the projects that is in the intro to my videos, and that is actually from, so if you asked the question, and I'm sorry I don't remember your name, but if you asked about the animal, or about the tree with the squirrel in it that is in my intro, it is actually from the Best of Renato Perelin book. So I got this book. I think I bought this book on eBay. You might be able to find it on Amazon. I'm 99% sure I found this one on eBay. And so it is a series of patterns. And here is the pattern. So it's a series of seasonal trees. There's one for winter, spring, summer, fall. And so there is the squirrel one. There is the tree for, I think this is spring with pretems. That's rabbits. The squirrel is summer. There's the owls for autumn. And then there is winter. Hiver. So there you go. You can find those in the Best of Renato Perelin book. That is, I think I found it on eBay. I don't know if it's still available or not. I got this a number of years ago, and I've stitched a number of the patterns out of this book. So there you go. Okay, let's get into what I've stitched in the last week. So first off, over the week, I did stitch on the Long Dog Samplers, Le Jardin de Plaisir, Le Jardin de Plaisir. And I've gotten a page finish. So it's actually out of the Q-Snap, so I can show you the 2 pages completely. So here we go. There is my page finish on Le Jardin de Plaisir. So it's more than 2 pages finished because I moved into page. So this... There we go. So this is page 1, page 4. So it's 3 pages on top, 3 pages on bottom. And I've actually gone into page 2 and page 5 just to finish out the threads that I had going. And so, yeah. So this is on a 36 count patina. I looked it up this time. It is a color and cotton fabric, 36 count, called patina. And it is 36 count. I'm using 1 strand of DMC over 2 strands of the fabric. So 1 over 2 of the DMC. And I am using DMC. I have them right here. DMC 3857 for the brown, 3857. The red is 3777. Looks like I'm going to have to get more brown. I don't know if I have any more left in my, or any other skeins or not. And the cream is 3866. So here we go again. There's the top page. There's the bottom page. And that is the whole left side of the pattern complete. So now I just have the center and then the right. So this is the entire piece of fabric that I have for this design. It's not going to take the entire piece of fabric, but that's what I have to work with. And we're getting there. I'm hoping this will be a finish in October. I'd really like to get a couple things finished. Magnet sticking. I'm really hoping to get a couple large finishes before the end of the year. Just so you can see the coverage up close. So it's actually not too bad of coverage for 1 over 2. And I'm fine with a little bit of sparseness. I think it looks nice. So yeah, there we go. I have this in my Made by Mama Joan bag. This is my kind of like a winter stag. Le Jardin de Plaisir. Okay. Next up, I worked on my mom's design, and she's seen it, so it's perfectly fine to show on the video. And it's By the Bay Needle Art in My Father's House. So this is in my father's house. The wording on the pattern says, there are many rooms in my father's house. I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. So that's 2 different passages from the Bible. The first part is a passage from John 14:2. Yep, John 14:2, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever is Psalm 23:6. And I have a finish. Ooh. So this is a finish. I finished this late last night. Well, not even really all that late. I think it was like 8:30. And here it is. I even ironed it. I ironed it and then I showed my mom. There we go. So that is in my father's house by the Bay Needle Art. So here we go up close. Itchy nose. This is on 32 count biscotti by Color and Cotton Fabric. Both of my pieces are on Color and Cotton Fabric at the moment. So this is 32 count linen by Color and Cotton Fabric using the called for DMC that the pattern calls for. And as you, I don't know if you noticed or not, but I put my initials right there. So it blends in well enough. I think that if you are standing far away, it would not be that noticeable. So I'm going to go ahead and get this framed because I'm going to see my mom in October. So I want to make sure that she can have this to then hang up in her house for the fall. So I'm really excited about this. I love By the Bay Needle Art designs. I actually have three more designs. I think I have 2 more designs that I want to stitch right now. And then she just released a new stitch along that I'm interested in getting. I don't know if I'm actually going to stitch it. I'm definitely not going to stitch it as a stitch along, but I wouldn't mind getting it to have. But so yeah, here is. So I really like, and what I like about By the Bay Needle Art pieces are, one, her color choices. I was really worried when I first started pulling out the colors for this because of that house. I didn't really care for the house colors, but once it's all stitched together, I really like the colors of the colors that are pulled up. I love her trees. Love her trees. Love them. Love the trees. So there we go. By the Bay Needle Art in my father's house. 32 count biscotti by Color and Cotton Fabrics. 2/2. So I stitched 2/2. So it's 2/2 stitching on the 32. And I don't know if I ever talked about this before, but the roof has a specialty stitch to give it a texture. So that is using a road stitch. So it uses a cross stitch and road stitches, and it gives it a nice texture, which I think is really cool. Very creative. So there we go, in my father's house. And then the last thing, because last night I wasn't quite done, I wasn't ready to pack up the stitching, but I had finished this, and I didn't want to pull out Le Jardin de Plaisir to stitch. So I thought I would pull out my Theresa Wenzler Millennium. I haven't touched this since spring, I think. It's been quite a while. So this is a kit. So I have all the kit stuff, as you can see. I haven't stitched on this in a very long time. So I decided to pull this out. I need to stitch around the edges because it's starting to fray. But here we go. So I put this on the Q-snap. I decided that I was going to stitch. So I have this entire space around the planets all stitched up. I did that a while ago. And so I decided to go ahead and stitch. I already had these 2 planets completely done. So I decided last night I was going to stitch 2 more planets. So I did these 2 planets down here at the bottom. And there we go. So I did 2 more planets last night, and then I was like, that's all I'm going to do for this one. But I got 2 more done. So that's 2 more 1/1. So for this design, this is Theresa Wenzler's Millennium, which came out for the turn of the century back in 1999-2000. And it says, with the Lord, one day is as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is as one day. But so as you can... Uno momento. So with this kit, all the blue of the sky of the outer space is 2/2 on the 28 count, but then all of the planets are stitched 1/1. So it takes a lot more stitching to do all of the detail work. So I'm doing those right now. So I've done these 4 planets. I'm going to come around and do these ones next time. And I'm just hacking away at those little by little. I'm in no hurry to get this design done. Last night I just wanted something small to work on. I mean, small as in a small goal to complete. And I thought, what better thing to do than to just knock out 2 more patterns or 2 more planets. So that's what I did. And that maybe I think that took 2 hours, because I think I watched 2 episodes of a show. But there we go. So I will continue working on that, and then I'll be able to move on to something else. I want to get all of this space done, and then I'll move on somewhere else. So there we go. And that's all I worked on. So last week I said I was going to try to pull out my Heaven and Earth design. And I pulled it out, and I talked to you guys about it, and I showed you, and then I put it up against the wall in my living room, and that's where it sat since. Because I really wanted to get that piece done for my mom. So I haven't touched that. So I have no idea what I'm going to work on this week. I'm probably going to put Le Jardin de Plaisir back in the Q-Snap. And then from there, I have no clue. So I'm just going to go with the flow. And when I check in with you next week, you're just going to have to wait and find out what I work on. Otherwise, that's all she wrote. So I hope you all have a wonderful week. I hope you're enjoying all the stitching knitting, crafting, whatever you may be getting into. I hope you have plenty of time for that. I know temperatures are starting to cool down here, other than now it's starting to warm up this week. But I think this coming weekend it's going to start getting cool again. So I hope you're enjoying your time, whatever you are getting into, whatever that may be. And until I see you again, as always, don't forget to always be creative.